Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to this stream. We're going to be talking about archetypes today. I'm joined by SuperBlizard. So how you doing, SuperBlizard? I know it's very early for you today.
Hi, hey, hello. It's 6 a.m. What better time to start your day
Perfect.
than, than with a good round of Faeria, huh?
Oh
It's
no,
always Faeria time.
you
And
got all
today
robot again.
I'm going robot again? Oh
Yeah,
no.
we had this
Oh,
issue before.
what an unfortunate timing, huh? Listen,
You
okay. I'll
you
be
were
right.
fine right before we started. Alright, Lizard's gonna reboot. In the meantime,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hop into a match with Lizards. We're gonna be talking about how to pilot different archetypes, especially different matchups, more so the general matchups, but also more so the advantages to different land placements against these certain matchups with a certain archetype as well. And we're gonna see how it goes. So, not really too concerned with our starting hand or anything like that as of yet.
Yeah. Am I back yet, or is it still
Yep,
bad?
you sound good.
Now I sound good. Okay,
Oh yeah, the
I
starting
don't know
turn I
what's up with
forget is
Discord, but yeah.
you got 14 seconds, but it doesn't really
I
matter.
have 14 seconds. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Let me just.
So for those curious, I've gotten this question before. When you try to set the timer at like as far as possible, the first two turns are hard coded to a certain time, so that's kind of unfortunate. But yeah, we'll get through the first couple turns here.
Yeah, I think so far it's just like the first turn is hard coded to 20, right?
I think it's the first two turns. I could be wrong, but I believe it's the first two turns.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, I've talked about Rush before in the past. So I think most of my audience will understand the whole Rush versus Control matchup. But in terms of... Oh, wow. That's big.
That is, yeah, that is a big one.
Yeah, we'll just go over the control lines, like, once again. Again, I've talked about them, but just to briefly cover, in this matchup where Lizard is playing more of a control list, very slow, it's more of like a value list with creations, building up a lot of these blue things, Magnus, expensive things. So he's starting both sides of the wells, really important to collect off of both of these wells, and build more defensive lands on the corners here. Ooh, I should turn on my coordinates overlay extension. Oh no, that's not it.
Oh yeah, that might be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this earlier in an earlier episode, I think.
Yeah, we did a
Standard
Rush stream
procedures.
before too.
Yeah, yeah. The standard procedure is just securing your well collection, and then winning by having the upper hand in the resource game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit awkward here though, because I need to block my farm boy. I need to block the Queen's Guard from actually killing my collector. And a lot of people only really go face as the rush deck, which is in most cases wrong. As green rush, you really want to be able to control the board more than you actually want to push face damage.
Yeah, it's really good to think about Rush as almost a pseudo control list in a sense, instead of actually just rushing towards face. Because this game is all about those well collections, and in Rush's case, it's really no different.
Yeah. And by the way, I was only really able to afford the Magnus by having my farm boy collect twice from the well, right? So that I could play him on turn 3.
True, the
Otherwise, I
Farm Boy
wouldn't
is
have.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so typically, I mean, if there wasn't a giant Magnus here, I would definitely be wanting to take out this Farm Boy as the Green Rush player. Getting these sort of well clears is really good, and really the purpose in rushing down the center like this is we get access to both wells, or at least we're close to both wells, and we get to pick sides. Whereas if we went for a mid-range game plan, we kind of have to make this investment of sides already, and our opponent gets to respond to that by dodging sides if they want to, or fighting. But with Rush, we get to do whatever we want here. But in this case, I really don't have a choice but to just hit face. I can't one-shot this Magnus. And then we just drop a lot of more aggro pressure.
Yeah.
And Lizard's gonna be continuing to, well, depends on his hands, but he has the option. Yeah, he has the option to fill in these. So these two lands here on. Oh, I don't have the numbers memorized. This is.
I'm sorry, Moon. Just
wow.
ripped a windfall.
Free windfall. All right, no collections needed anymore.
Yeah. Sort of done here.
But on E5 and F5, these spots are really great for Rush. So, why don't you explain, as this was a cool and interesting play in how to defend against this sort of thing. Typically, like I've mentioned, taking E5 and F5 spots are great control lands, but Lizard decided to fill in this neutral with the legs, so what did you do that for?
Yeah, okay, so right now I filled in the neutral because I wanted to minimize the amount of damage I'm taking this round, right? Otherwise you would have been able to step over and then it hit me for 9 in total. Whereas this line, I mean, I pretty much won the lottery by getting my windfall here, so economy is no longer really my concern.
Yeah.
Now I'm only worried about taking your creatures out and then regaining board control.
Oh, you've gone robot-y again.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll manage. Yeah, so this space here on F5 is excellent for Faeria economy, especially like 9 damage is a lot. As mono green, you're not super concerned with taking those face hits as long as you can manage to deal with everything. Which he should be able to do with stats, but like he mentioned, he ripped that windfall, so he really doesn't care about economy in this case. Might as well protect the face. So that's a really cool decision that he had to make there, or had the option to make there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it back again now, or?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, it's disconnecting up, I don't know. Very peculiar.
Right.
Yeah, if you have a second buff, you're priced into clearing my Herald.
Yeah, so
Potentially stepping over.
I am looking to clear the Herald here, because he's got 3 creatures on my left side over here. It's really difficult to actually justify clearing anything over there, because we don't do anything to his Faeria collections. He still has the option to collect here. Likely he's going to use this as a fighting tool, but we do want to limit those options anyways. And I think the play here is just going to be... Ooh, this is actually kind of tough now that I think about it.
If you have a buff like a guidance, you can buff the Maceman.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a Tiki Piper, which I'm now realizing I can't play into this Magnus. When the Queensguard's going to be on 1 HP in range of Farm Boy. So, yeah, I mean, the play would be to take out the Herald in that sense, but I don't think I'm going to want to be doing that anymore. We're actually going to... I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Nah, yeah, this should work. So we actually take the pre-hit here, and we're actually going to completely ignore everything I just said, because we can't actually mess with this economy on left sides. I distracted myself speaking so much, but with this play here, we actually stay taunting the farm boy, so he can't actually collect anyways. And I mean, he's on like 10 Faeria next turn. Doesn't matter too much. I think it still does, even at this position in the game. It is still quite decent to be controlling the wells, even though he's just gotten so much, and that 0 discount card, but yeah, we go for those sort of control lines still.
I think in this particular case you were priced into playing for hand size, because the value game's pretty much over. Like,
Yeah, and I mean,
Um,
I didn't really have well, yeah, I guess the option was to double neutral maybe and block your investment into the well collection, set up a well collection of my own. But yeah, I'm kind of desperate for hands, especially hand size, especially with the Runin Shrine in hand. Um,
yeah,
I just have so much Faeria to spend, and now with Beirut on board, it's just game over.
yeah, Barrow is really difficult. Um,
So yeah, there's not much I can do in this situation. We'll just boob face. It looks pretty lost, not gonna lie. So I think the best, kind of hard to
we
say, I
could move
guess.
on.
Yeah, we could
But
move on.
yeah,
Anything else you want to talk about this sort of matchup? Because we're gonna move on to all of the matchups. We just wanted to briefly touch on this one for completion, but yeah, I have kind
yeah,
of made several guides of Rush in the past.
yeah. Be sure to check those out, guys. I think they're still on your YouTube channel, so
Yes, we did. I did a in-depth guide, but I also did like we did one just a stream a long time ago. I remember. Let me turn this music down.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's that.
Yeah. So we'll move
I
on.
guess the more interesting is defending into mid-range, or any mid-range aggression really, and
Yeah.
how you can utilize lands that way to block off aggression. So let's try to showcase that.
So I'll just play mid range. You're gonna stick with control.
Yeah, you can play red. I'll stick to this one.
Right. So I'm not posting the deck list here, and the concern's not really with the deck lists. Mainly just to gauge general archetypes. I mean, these pointers that we're going to be talking about just goes for pretty much anything within that archetype. Of course, there's going to be variances among specific cards, and specific deck lists, but yeah, this is pretty much just going to be generalized. Hello, chat.
Yeah, and keep in mind, in principle, you can apply just about any game plan to any deck. But how well you'll be able to execute that set game plan depends on how tight the synergy is within your deck, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm on a timer here. So one thing I can do, because I know this matchup, I can just start center here. I don't think it really makes much of a difference. Oh, actually, I just realized I have this. Okay. Time pressure, eek. Yeah, so starting center is fine because I know that Lizard's probably just going to be going to both sides. He's playing a greedy list. So I don't need to really invest in a side. But since I had a starting creature, I mean, I might as well invest.
It's also not super greedy. Like the way the list is set up, you have a lot of starting creatures actually.
Yeah, so we'll just continue off to the side. So
Yeah,
mid-range starts. We were gonna talk a little bit about like starting center versus starting sides as mid-range, which, I mean, of course, depends on the deck you're playing, but it also depends on the matchup that you're facing as well. Oh, are we still on a timer? Okay. It also depends on the matchup we're playing. Like, since I am against a slower list, I can afford to start center pretty easily. If I'm against like a speedier list, oftentimes even like against blue, where jump is really an importance, you can preferably start sidelines in a lot of cases, where you don't give the jumping land to the opponent. Depends on your list as well, though. You need to be aggressive as well, because investing into the side land means you're not going to be as defensive unless you choose to go both sides.
Yeah, it also depends on your deck. Like if you have any flyer in your list that wants the center spot, like a Garridan or a Shadow Silk Fairy, an Imperial Drake Rider, stuff like that. It can be beneficial to start center like this.
Yeah, also true. Considering
Then
the other card picks you have coming in the future with Charge 2.
also keep in mind if you're facing a blue jump or any deck that can make use of your aggressive land positioning, it may be beneficial to start sides and then push up one side.
Yeah, definitely. Your mic is terrible, Lizard. But yeah, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to live through it. Yeah, Fryman mentioned that I could have flame bursted the toads. Yeah, that could be valid as well. Yeah. So as the mid-range list, I'm just gonna continue to march up one side. Probably just with double neutrals here. I actually don't remember what's in this list, to be honest. I think there's a lot of neutral stuff, and we must have Axe Grinder in here. So we'll just take a casual step forwards. We'll take the Wrath, and I think we will take the Burst as well, just to play around Aurora things. But yeah, like Fryman mentioned earlier, I should have taken the Flame Burst earlier. I just was not paying attention. But limiting the collections, especially against this list that requires like a lot of Faeria to play stuff, pretty good, pretty impactful.
Yeah. Is it okay now? I don't know.
Yeah. It always starts okay, and then it goes robot-y later. But we'll see.
I don't want to turn into a robot. This is very suspicious.
So this land placement, he's going for the exact same land placement that he plays into Rush with. But this starting land placement is excellent because it stops any of my aggressive lands from being placed. And Lizard wins this match just by fending me off from face, because his late game is superior to mine. Turns out the mid game is also superior with that Beirut drop, though.
Yeah, that Flameburst Wrath clear was really expensive. Not in terms of Faeria value necessarily, but also in terms of hand size.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah,
that's potentially 5 damage on the Beirut you're missing out on now.
Yeah, Beirut's a little bit big. But I was worried about Aurora, and I played into Beirut. And
yeah, I mean, fair concern.
Yeah, we simply don't have the damage numbers anymore to deal with this thing. But we will play the Shaker, I suppose, just as stats on board. It's just a matter of where to place the Shaker, because our lakes are going to get destroyed. But we could potentially go in between the well and hope for a kill. I don't think we're really going to get it, but there you go. I actually might drop this thing as well, just for extra stats on boards. 5, 8... I mean, I guess we don't necessarily have to. Yeah, we'll just hold. So I got the numbers in hand. And I think Lizard is at his land count now, so he doesn't really need to do anything land-wise. But this land placement is excellent for him because, like I mentioned, it's really stopping a lot from me. I can't produce anything aggressive anymore. And now with the Beirut, I'm even further back from getting aggressive. And so now he can just focus on drawing and plus-1ing. He's already got his perfect land placement set up the way he wants it to. We get double collection off both wells. Very juicy. And planning out your land placements early, and by early that usually means even before the match begins, but land placements might differ also based on matchup. But it's really good to map out those land placements early. Same with my list as well.
Yeah. By the way, call me out whenever I go robot again.
Sure.
Because I just have to leave the call and then rejoin the call and then it's fixed.
Fair. Alright.
Yeah, okay. With this placement, and me not taking the trade actually, I preserve the Beirut. I can now afford to slow play it. Even though you're getting the collection, me taking the trade there would potentially lose me right side here. But I really want to sustain my collection because I'm thinking if I'm going toe-to-toe with you, if we're even, then I can outscale and win by having the superior late game. That's sort of the idea behind this.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting decision point there. I think a lot of players would have gone for the trade, right?
Yeah. That leaves me open to the 3-3, right?
Yeah, and so you can... I've heard players say before, like, oh, well, playing in range, I'm still playing into Flame Burst or whatever anyways. But you want to always play around what's on board first, rather than the unknown information that's in your opponent's hand. This is like -3 damage by taking this step. That's already -3 damage that you can play around on board. This is known information that he gets to play around, and that's great to do. Yeah. And like Lizard mentioned, also, preserving these collections is really important, especially this big stat line. Against red, this is really difficult to deal with, as well as... what else was I going to say? It's difficult to deal with, and he maintains this collection, which I think collections are more important for him in this scenario. I'm on Aid Faeria here, and not a lot of really great active lands to be placing all of my Aid Faeria, right? I do have a clear, and I set this up for last turn, so I was... this was maybe not a good debate anyways, but I was debating dropping this Horsemaster for extra fighting stats, which would have worked, I guess, similarly, but now we use it as a surprise tool instead. I guess I want him to draw first. So we dump the Horsemaster.
But that's still like 3 Faeria for a horse.
Very expensive. And we don't have any follow-up, unfortunately.
And yeah, I do get the Herald here. Can't take the draw.
You've gone robot. Okay, so in this position, I can't really fight these stats. I can attempt to counter with just a big stat stick of my own. I'm going to have to invest a land to get this guy out of range. Really unfortunate that this lake spot is here now, but it's still worth it for the collections. One decision I can think about here is I could play my neutral creature on this lake and go for card draw if I really want it. So I have to decide whether I want that card advantage in hand or I want to keep up my Faeria collections. And in this position, I think, I mean, honestly, both points are valid, but I think I do want to go back and collect here. Again, I'm not, like, super familiar with this list, so I don't know actually what I'm searching for if I'm going for a draw. We've got, just this neutral. I think this is our biggest neutral in the list. So, I mean, there's an option to sidestep, drop a creature, and then we get to collect anyways, but this thing's gonna die. We can open up that double collection. So we'll go for that. Since I don't really need the mountain, I might as well go for a double neutral here. We'll go back and collect and drop Cypher instead of the neutral. Because I'm predicting that I want this Horsemaster to step backwards and collect, stepping onto that mountain. Cypher's got to go in an awkward spot afterwards. So we could probably just try to get a more aggressive land up this side. Not really a point in going to right side here, because that requires another land investment, and we're just losing if we slow play like that. But Lizard actually blocking that aggressive spot. Shutting down all possible forms of aggression.
Yeah, and with the Archon block here, I play around Horsemaster Command on my Herald, which I think is a way I can lose this game. Even though I have plenty of Transform left, but I want to take some safety measures.
Yeah, it's a decent block for sure. We do have the command in hand, so we get to deal with that. We have 4, 5, 6, we'll draw. But this would have been much more devastating on the Herald over there. Now Lizard at least has a chance of dealing with these stats. And yeah, Horsemaster, I mean, that's playing around 2 cards, I suppose. Horsemaster plus the command. Well, not even that. You play around any sort of damage, I guess, in that situation.
Yeah. It just I'm allowed to take this play because it's a good preventive measurement, right? And it doesn't cost me too much to do this play.
Right. So the mountain placement makes me suspicious of Garridan. I know that he runs Garridan in this list, so I may not want to play too many cards. Like with my double collection on board, it's pretty decent. With the Cypher on board, it's pretty decent. It's probably going to get Frogified though, so I may want to follow up to Frogify coming in. Puts him on 4 HP. I think we can actually just go for the creature. Because this does play around, I mean, it plays more damage Garridan can do to it, but our Horsemaster is going to die, right? So we want a follow-up creature for a potential Frogify. Yeah, looks like it is Garridan. Is there a Frogify too?
No, just take the trade now.
Oh yeah, I guess you just had the, yeah, with Garridan damage. I forgot about that, but at least we keep a collector alive. Go 4. So we'll go for a draw.
So, what's interesting actually is with this, with the way you played this list, Moon, is you've went for a lot of tempo clears early on.
Yeah, the double removal was a big investment.
Yeah. As when I'm playing this deck, I'm often looking to just go and set up for a double shaker play, like a big turn, right? That's where I want to be.
To deal with all the stats, yeah, there's a lot of stats on board. That's big. That's a little too big. So we take the lands. We've got 5, 6, 7. It's really awkward. So I probably want to top deck a... I could either go for the top deck Flame Burst, or we can go for... aggressive lands don't really do much. We'll just take a draw. Yeah, look at that.
You got it, yeah.
Oh, wow. Just be good at top decking, I guess. And now... This Gary is threatening the face potentially, so we're going to step back this 2-1 to deal. And we'll step up our corrupt guy in his face. Sesha's not sure about the Archon. Why not E6 step back the 5-6? Well, I think Lizard mentioned that he wanted to play around the Horsemaster plus damage removal, which is perfectly valid play around. Pretty much the only card they need in hand is Horsemaster for that take that was earlier on, and 1 damage removal, which is like very likely. We've got Wrath, Command, and Flameburst in the deck. So really that just plays around the Horsemaster. And playing around Horsemaster, I think, is a little better than playing around Command. He just saw 1 already, and we played 1 Command. Because in that situation, I had a 5/6 Cypher into a 6/6 Archon, right? Damage removal doesn't work. I need exactly Command, or I don't get that trade. So I think Lizard was correct in evaluating that risk. He got punished for it, but I think that was still the correct play. Because you always want to be playing towards the... I mean, like I said, you play towards what the stats on board first, but then you also play... next for the most likely risks to play around, I suppose. Pretty unlikely a Command comes there.
And I would much rather have the Command go on the Archon, right?
Yeah.
Because the stats, Cypher doesn't care about the buffed stats.
Yeah, it's a smaller buff anyways. And you can see he had the stats afterwards to manage, which was pretty cool. Yeah, for those who don't know, Cypher gobbles the original stats, which is a 4/4 for Archon, not the 6/6. And he also didn't go for the face hit here. We spooked him with the Underground Brigand. Again, with that play that he made earlier where he was playing around, or stepping out of the trade range of stats that were currently on board. This means I don't have this free 2 damage hit on the 6/6, so he gets to keep collecting for a while and building up more value as he goes along. Let's see, so my play here, obviously we take the Corrupt. We'll see what we draw first. Okay, I need to find a Shaker, I guess, would be ideal. So I mean, I have an option to draw for Shaker, or I could go for a more aggressive play here, and really pump on the gas with an aggressive creature. Which is not like a terrible idea. Oh, actually, I don't need to do that. This is a neutral creature. Yeah, never mind. I don't need to build a land. I'll just go for the draw. Okay. So that's interesting. I'm not sure. I guess it's worth it. We top deck the Flameburst. We can go for the hit. The only issue with Flameburst is we don't get to produce an aggressive creature afterwards. So I have the option between the neutral and the Axe Grinder. And the benefit to the neutral is I get to play him in a more aggressive spot, as opposed to Axe Grinder, which goes back pretty far and passive. So I mean, another option is... I don't want to lose the Brigands. It's got to be this Flameburst here. And the trades. Keeping him off of collections and just keep preserving this Brigand's life. Now the only unfortunate thing is, yeah, we don't get to play the neutral, but spending just 1 or 2 cards, I guess, the Lost Explorer plus the Burst, a little bit better from throwing in the Brigand and Dads and then another removal tool. So after all, we will go for the Axe Grinder. One thing I could even consider is bringing the Axe Grinder passive here to contest the Garradin, because I don't think the Axe Grinder is going to be like super useful up here. But I'm not sure. It's quite the debate, to be honest. Because again, I'm not really like threatened by him hitting face. If he's concerned with this 2/1, we can find the damage numbers to clear the Garradin. So that's a tricky debate, to be honest. Face or here? Obviously, we get more buffs up here. But let's see. So, one thing I need to analyze also is if Lizard can shift into a racing position. Like, if he does find, like, a command or something to clear the 2/1, and he hits face, Then what do I have to deal with this? Am I going to outvalue a 6/6 slapping me in the face every turn? Because I can't really deal with this for a couple turns at least. He steps here. Even if I top deck Ground Shaker, I have to put it here, and then he sidesteps again, out of range. And I'm getting bopped for quite a lot of damage. So I think I'll go for the defensive play. Just thinking about that race potential, and my Axe Grinder is so slow in that position. We could even... Like, I don't think he's going to take the trade, but we can even step this on the off chance he takes the trade, and then we've got, again, stats on board to deal with this, rather than spending our hand removal. But he's just going to take a step back.
Yeah, I think I just have to be a bit more cautious here. Since he invested the grinder's not really doing anything else right now.
Yeah, and that's a fair point too. Now we've invested 3 Faeria here that's just useless for ourselves. But I do think if he had answers here, the race is really hard to stop. But yeah, we do waste the 3 Faeria now, so... We'll be a little slower yet again.
I just realized I made a big mistake.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Dumping the toads? Really? Okay, interesting. So we're on 6, 7, 8 if we want it. We also have the option to do this. I don't know if that's like that good though.
Like you can Wrath and hit face here, yeah.
Yeah. The only issue with this one is that we don't get to play everything, right? We're on 6, 7, 8. I really want to be able to play both of these things, but I don't know if that's gonna happen for me. I guess... Let's see. That take. We can do this. So if we take both of these creatures out, that means we're on 8. Really? Still 8? Yeah, 8. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that doesn't really make much sense. Okay, so... we will just go for the collection. I guess we might as well draw, because... 7, 5... Yeah, we can draw for more answers now. So we will take the Wrath. And we'll take the free face bump. And then we'll dump an aggressive creature. Actually, I could actually go for this guy. I'm worried about if I play the Trooper here, he's got double trade value.
Oh, Trooper, yeah.
Which is a little unfortunate. So we could just go passively and play the Axe Grinder. Because he really doesn't want to, like, double trade. If he double trades this, like, I'm pretty cool with that, right? I think we will just go for the Grinder here. We'll stay threatening the spell space.
I'm kind of hovering a second Garrett in here. Which is,
Oh, right. I forgot you have, yeah, you have creation.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think that's gonna be game. GG.
Yeah.
That was my mistake for forgetting that creation is running this list.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna stop you when you were contemplating the X Grinder and the Trooper.
Yeah, I mean,
It is what
no
it
matter
is.
what I played there, really. I guess everything was 4 HP, so it didn't really matter.
We can also swap around maybe. Or
Um,
what do you think?
swap around, what do you mean? Like,
You play the sevens, I play red.
yeah, we can do that. Change the perspective. What about a Flyers or Rush counter? A Flyers or Rush counter. How do you mean? So I do know the matchup, so since I know the matchup, I'm just gonna hang on to this card. Very good into this matchup. This is kind of a greedy keep, but I don't know. I guess that's not as good. I forget Lizard's running like not a typical red that everyone else runs.
Well, yeah, it's much more aggressive, right? Because I have so many neutrals that I can make use of.
Oh god, what does this give me? What are the legendaries in this list? We got Aurora and Magnus and Beirut.
Yes, and Garridan.
Ah, yeah, Garridan, right.
So most of the time of Legends will actually guarantee a hit on a pretty good discount.
Right.
Okay, so now I'm basically doing the same thing as Moon, but I'm gonna try to play it a bit slower and not go for as many temple lines, right? Because you set out to be very aggressive with clearing my board last turn,
Yeah,
answering the battle toads and such.
yeah, the board clear was a definite mistake. All those tools wanted to be going aggressive. Because of the late game value with this, yeah, you really want to hold those burn tools anyways to going face.
It's also about the thing you're getting off the temple line, right? So if you're committing early to a clear, and you can't actually convey that into board presence or pressure, it's pretty hard for you to make your investment back, so to say, right? But it's a different story if I have a demon in your face and I can actually, close out the game in the next couple of turns. Whereas if you're playing it in the early game just to, clear my board, it's much harder actually. You could have, if you wanted to slow play, you could have let me play the Aurora, let me take the trade, and then you react with the Flame Burst, as opposed to, pre-committing the Flame Burst and the Wrath early on. And
Yeah,
then Aurora is
definitely.
also not super cheap, right? Because I'm investing 4, I'm less likely to go to Beirut then. So those things add up as well.
Yeah, very true. Aurora spending 4 on the Aurora, taking back for 3 cost Flame Burst. Yeah, this is kind of a tricky play. If I go for this guy, what does that put me to? Down to, can't math, 4? Next turn we're on 8, right? Assuming this survives. So one thing I can do because of my hand, I suppose, I might go for something like this. I don't know, I can't really fight with a 2-2. I also really want to, kind of want to, pump this just to see what happens. But then I'm going to be shy on Faeria to play the stuff I want to play in hand. It's kind of a big issue. Another issue is if this Time of Legends hits Garridan, I really want my mountains built up. But then again, Garridan on this board kind of sucks.
Yeah, Garridan isn't really what you're looking for here.
We're just gonna go for this +1 and pass.
Oh wow, okay. Okay. I think you might have wanted to establish anything right side. But I don't know how your hand is looking like. So.
I had 0 things to go on the other side, except the 2-2, which I don't think is correct to play in here, because I don't think there's any removal tools in here, right? Like there's no...
Well, there's Phantasm, if you have that, but
oh,
yeah.
there's Phantasm. Yeah, well, none in hand, I guess. So... we'll just go for our original plan. This should be pretty difficult to deal with. 3 cards in hand. Only a 3/3. We are playing it in range, but yeah, I think it's fine. He has to find an awkward 7 damage on top of the 3/3. Which can come in the form of Shaker Shaker Burst, but that's very expensive. Lizard has the opportunity to take aggressive lands here, which is unfortunate. Well, never mind, I take that back. He doesn't want to play aggressive lands into Beirut. Beirut kind of just shuts down everything, huh?
This is really interesting, actually. I do have some options.
He's got options, he says. So he does have a lot of really efficient 5 attackers. Oh, steps back. Okay. That leads me to believe there must be, like, Horsemaster as a part of that package. But there's not really any playing around Horsemaster. We go up to 7, we go up to 8. Pretty cool. Pretty cool that we go up to 8. So we'll just collect and we'll go up to 8 with that creation. Wait, did I miscount? Why this cost 8? Oh, it's only
this
a
costs
6.
8, yeah.
Apparently I can't count. We could attempt... If this is Magnus, we're in a great spot. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I can't math today, apparently. It's too late.
Oh, no.
That's discount by 6, so we can't play Magnus, never mind. Okay. It might almost be cool to fill in this land, but I'm not sure. If he does find a clear on this Beirut, which is potentially likely at this point, with the Horsemaster, he's got 6 damage plus 4. That's like Shaker, and then a Flame Burst. Not too unreasonable to hope for. And then he gets this aggressive land, which we actually can't deal with because we're going to be losing initiative if this Beirut dies. So I might be concerned with filling in this land. Of course, if the Beirut does not die, this becomes a lake, so I want to be kind of careful with what that land placement is, but I think we can actually go for a mountain? Even still? So if he manages to kill the Beirut, we get our mountains to survive, we're closer to Garridan. If he doesn't kill it, it transforms into a lake, worst case, which is fine. We also get to gobble his mountain in exchange. But Bomb Slinger, I don't think Lizard is running, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, right now I think I'm keeping it like this. I did manage to pick up my Imperial Trooper, which was great.
Yeah, the 5 attack is pretty nice. We can follow up with another Beirut. We can also potentially follow up with Magnus if we top deck it, but there's no guarantee. Like, this is Aurora or Magnus. Aurora or Magnus. Like, it's a 50-50 chance, I guess. Magnus is really good in this position, but I don't think it's really worth going for. It's Magnus, this is put on... Oh no, Lizard lost connection.
Yeah, but I think I'm back, so...
Okay. Actually, we might as well just go for the Archon since we can +1 into it. Yeah, so we just slap this guy down, +1 into the 6/6, and we get a lot of stats to defend with.
Yeah, that's a lot of stats.
Very big. A lot for Red to deal with. Lizard is on 19 Faeria, but I imagine Lizard is kind of holding on to his ground shakers like you mentioned earlier, to get as much potential out of them as possible.
Yeah, I think Ground Shaker is a really solid card in this matchup.
You're saying normally when you don't know what your opponent is playing. Oh, was that the comment about Flyers or Rush counter? Oh, I see now, I see now. Yeah, if you wanted to counter the control list, you could go for like a Rush or something. Probably not Green Rush. I don't think Green Rush would do super well. But also, I think... I don't know, I'm not as familiar with this list, to be honest. But you can build up value quite quickly. So I'm actually not even sure if Rush is... It depends on the type of Rush. Because you've got the little stats to deal with, but it very quickly can evolve into like this Beirut and the 6/6 and such. Okay, so... I think Aurora is actually kind of cool, potentially, here. We can maybe preserve the stats of our Beirut. I mean, do we care about Beirut at this point, though? We probably don't really. He's probably hanging on to a double shaker, though. Double shaker would make a lot
of... up.
Double shaker would make a lot of sense because we got a lot of 2 HPs that he's lining up here. So we probably want to try to play around that double shaker a little bit. We don't have a ton of tools for that. This doesn't feel very useful. Like, if we top deck Aurora, it's not awful. So let's just see what we get from this. If it's Magnus... Oh yeah, we have Gary. I keep... Okay. Well, that was the worst possible top deck. I forgot we had that in the list. Alright.
Yeah, that's also like a really interesting consideration, right? It's a small risk, but sometimes you can even avoid that small risk. Right, if you're just much more comfortable getting a Phantasm, getting a Windfall from your mochis. You don't have to cash on the time immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was hoping for like Aurora or Magnus. Those are the only two cards I was considering. I'm like, yeah, either of those are awesome, but yeah, maybe not. But what we could potentially do is run away, I guess. We can't even run away. Because I'm thinking we could run away to try and get Garrett in value, but it doesn't really make that much sense anyways. We have the potential to take 2 Horse Masters out, and that's it. Which
Yep.
doesn't really... And also these Horse Masters are just trading into the Bayries anyways.
I mean, probably, yeah. If they stick around.
Oh no, we can... yeah, no, that doesn't work. Here. Yeah, no, we're not gonna get to the Garridan, but we can at least try to like preserve the Bayrie stats or something. Okay, so let's build this way. We'll go passive. Let's take this trades. Step back. I don't really know if that's correct or not, but I'm not sure what the line is here. We want to try to like bait out the ground shakers. So we take 1 with this one. Still get to maintain our collections on this side and save the health of our Bayries. And pretty much anyways, I'm not really pressured into like board clearing yet. I would much rather go towards my game plan, which is building up those creation values. But he is going to invest one of his Horse Masters there because he knows I have Garridan. Should have built the mountain right a few turns ago? I wouldn't have been able to play the Mochi then. I could have put it here, I guess, but yeah.
Again, I'm sort of slow playing this, not going for the double shaker that turn. And trading off the Horse Master isn't bad either, since I can sort of delay the game state that way.
Mm-hmm. Just make this 7. We could do this. That's very expensive. That's not worth it. We get a creature on board. Sure. Oh, another thing we could do is actually threaten with the Garridan instead of going for collections. So I don't know, this is a little bit pricey, but when we take out the boards, except for the 3/3, Garridan is then gonna come either in this position where he can, well, I can't even threaten the 3/3, he just runs away, so there's no point. So I guess we just build this towards the wells instead. Yeah, I think we just come aggressive like this. Oh, lizards. Lost connection. And we will step back the 2/2s here. Because I know Ground Shaker's coming, we are going to set this Garrotin up as a double collector in anticipation for these two dying. It's probably... I mean, he could still go for the double shaker here, I guess. It's not as good, though. Doesn't actually get to kill anything. But if he's desperate for the stats, that's an option. There's a lot of cards in hand, though. I don't think he is desperate. But the Frogify Gary clear means we don't let him take the combat hit. We also preserve some HP on our berries that turn. It's just very expensive. But at least we get some aggressive pressure with the 6/6, which is not terrible. It forces Lizard to actually do something instead of slow playing. At least next turn. But we still have no answers to this 3/1, so I guess the 3/1 can always just defend. And there's the double shaker. The stats do line up pretty nice on this 8/5 Beirut. Now I can't really comfortably trade this guy in, so that's pretty nice for him. Even the 8/8, and we're gonna get Burst Rest. Yikes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the correct line, but I felt like it's a good opportunity to reestablish board. Might have been worth to wait another turn, but it's difficult then. You're out of discounts now. You need to reestablish left side. But if you have a simple farm boy here, that's enough. Or even
Yeah.
Battletoads.
So I have both as an option, but now I'm debating just going for the farm boy since we did just see the double shaker. And what the farm boy can do for us is get us closer towards our more greedier cards like Windfall and Magnus in the future. Where we don't have to invest that for Faeria, but he is still a little bit vulnerable. We can't reasonably play him in a double collection spot without investing that land. So it's kind of debatable. It could be either way. We also aren't under any pressure, so we also don't have to be concerned with these types of cards. What else is in this list? We got more creations coming. More Archons coming. I guess we just draw. Archon's a pretty cool top deck here. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll just step passively and drop the Battletoads. We can keep slow playing a little bit. Lake on the right side was an option to have a toad in a double collection spot, but I'm not sure if I want to invest the lands just yet. We do open up those axe grinder spots. A little bit annoying. I didn't consider this also, where I have to step my 8/5 in range. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. The last turn you might have wanted to take the trade with the 1 Beirut and then remain with the 8/8 in collection.
Yeah, I also didn't. Yeah, I didn't think about this 5 HP guy being still stuck in range. So that definitely was an option. And then we even threatened the Shaker. I think that was the better play overall. Yeah, for sure.
Like the good thing for me is I have a bit of scaling coming up with having my triple X grinders still in the deck, right?
Yeah, the X Ranger is really unfortunate. Would have been lovely to threaten this mountain space. I think we just take the collection anyways, though. This is gonna have to trade into those stats at some point.
I mean, it's mainly unfortunate for you, but you know, I've drawn half my deck, so it's it's about to get started.
Well, I think I have enough stuff to play. We'll go for... We could do something aggressive. But that's like so land heavy, and he's got the 3-1 still in range. How badly do I need to put on pressure? This is hopefully safe from Shaker. He does have commands in this list, I guess. We don't want to play this in range. We could put you here if we're like trying to threaten that double collection, I guess. It doesn't really like accomplish that much. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm playing for. Magnus in the future? We creation archons and such. Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest. I think this is not a list that I can pilot without a lot of prior playtesting.
Yeah, it takes some setup, definitely.
The lake was cool on the last turn, yeah, but really just the berries in the correct positions would have helped me a lot. Oh, right. I forgot we had to build up to 4 lakes also. So that, like, 4th lake earlier in the match was absolutely fine. Right, so we don't have enough for that. So there's one horse master we have to worry about still. We probably do want to try and answer this guy. We could invest this. What is that? Down to 2-6. That's still pretty bad. I guess we could just stay here. Just build up Faeria, perhaps. Could try to take a face hit. But then he lines up this pretty easy, like, double neutral. But, why not? We'll go for it. Force him to have it, because I think I'm really not doing much with my Faeria anyways. We'll just set these Battletoads up. here, and then what's this guy stays? We could potentially step back even further onto this space and prevent the neutral from being played. Not an awful play, but then he just produces this neutral, so it doesn't really matter. Take burst. Yeah, I guess we'll just stand here. We can step up here to threaten this space. Sure. Well, like that.
Like at some point you have to pivot into aggression there.
Yeah, we're gonna run out of stuff to play. I'm just trying to line up a kill on this 3-1 over here.
Yeah. The command was correct. You have that read. I did in fact have that.
Okay, but we played into it still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot I was even considering that.
Sort of debating where I want my second neutral.
Yeah, we've absorbed a lot of removal tricks from him. I think. I don't remember. We had like... Actually, have we? I don't think he has played that much. I think the toad at least is correct here. We probably could have played around... could we have even played around that? Not super well. But threatening this 3-1 I think is important. I guess it's not that important. You still have the 3-5.
Yeah, this is actually a really tough turn for me. I think I can force... Actually, no, I can't. Okay. Yeah, weird. I guess I stay here.
Alright. Oh. Very cool, but...
Yeah.
I can go up to 13. Is this worth playing? We play super hard into Ground Shaker. Yeah, we just, like, game losing to Ground Shaker.
So there's probably a myth maker by now. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, we're debating the myth maker here. So the myth maker, it just hard loses to Ground Shaker. You don't have the numbers to deal with the Beirut though if you shaker. Right? Maybe that's fine then. It's not that devastating even, because we follow up with Magnus here. So I guess
Magnus is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, because we still established this. Let's see, let's calculate the numbers. You go up to 5, 7 with the combat hit. That's a lot of Faeria. I guess you can reasonably find a Wrath in there as well, but only 3 cards, but you only need Shaker and Wrath. And that's a perfect cleanup. Or Command.
1 Shaker, 2 Wrath left, yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, that's a
and
pretty likely...
still.
Yeah, it's a pretty likely answer, actually. But, well, I don't know. 12 cards. He's got to find that one shaker. So, do I play around that risk or do I not? That's the question. If I don't play around it, I could just go super passive here, collect, stay here again and hit. Of course, I threaten getting flame bursted. Don't have answers to deal with these stuff. Man, this game is hard. This game is very difficult.
Faeria is not an easy game now.
Okay, well this always comes down, right? We're always playing the Magnus aggressive. I don't think there's any benefit to playing passively. So then we either get one collection with the Toads with the play where we stay here, or we get one collection with the Beirut with the play where we go up and produce the Aurora. You know what? It's a likely risk, but I'm going to play into it. I've decided. We're going to play into it.
Hmm?
I think it's still fine when we get to produce the Magnus here. We still get a lot of value with this. Again, it's likely for him, but it's, I don't know, it's still specific. Like, he still has to find that singular ground shaker in those 10 cards. So I don't know, I guess it's not, like, super likely. He'd clear the shaker, Toads and Magnus. Oh, play Battletoads? I don't know, it looks like we're getting rewarded, so I think we're alright with that. Of course, we do need to deal with this shaker, so that is a bit unfortunate, I guess.
I guess I should have hit into the Beirut here. No reason not to, right? It's just always better to hit.
Yeah, I think so. Because then my Toad is kind of stuck in the water here.
Yeah.
Actually, we can come across with the Magnus, which is kind of cool. That's like pretty cool play. Maybe? Is it cool? We have to invest lands?
I don't know.
But then he's on 5 HP, which is pretty cool. Instead of being in Flame Burst range with this guy, I think it's worth the land investment. Yeah, we'll go for it. We'll see what we draw. Oh, wow. Windfall.
No, not you too.
Amazing. We probably use the 6-1 to take the trade here to preserve stats. I guess we can also... We probably want to battle Toads against this. We can Toads and then just follow up with this, maybe. Of course, we're still playing around Horsemaster a little bit. Horsemaster still exists. But yeah, we go for this, I guess. Because I want to step this 8-8 up aggressive and threaten that mountain. 3, 4, 5. He does have to find Flame Burst on this to deal. And then we will go for Toads out of Horsemaster range. He can still get... more than likely has to hit both of these in. So I think that's fine. Yeah, I think we'll just go for Toads and pass like this. You can go hit. We could play this, but I'd rather get this more aggressive, I think. Yeah, we'll just pass like that, I guess. Holy, you're working my brain today, Lizard.
Okay. My turns aren't really easy.
Yeah, finding those damage numbers looks tough.
It is, yeah.
I think you still have 2 axe grinders left, right?
Yes, 2 axe grinders left.
So this mountain threaten's pretty good. I think we are in a winning position. I would say so, yeah.
Well, yeah, after
But-
you top deck that windfall,
Yeah.
you are pretty much in a winning position, yes. What's difficult for me is I have to find a way to close this game out. I don't see it, since you're still on triple Phantasm, on Frogify.
Oh, are there 3 phantasms in this?
Yes.
Oh.
Also Creation.
Yeah, 2 creations left still, so there's a lot of weight coming. I don't think Phantasm trades super well into your 5 attack stats though, but I guess it just lets me upgrade my toads.
I need to take a shit clear. Just something I wouldn't want to do. Usually.
Kind of desperate for oh my god, we top deck a second windfall.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm sort of desperate here.
But that's a flame burst not going face, which means we get a lot here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you for that.
I'm not recovering. No
I think
chance.
31's a little bit much. Oh, we have
I was trying
Ancient
to figure
Herald
out if
here.
there was a horse master line. Like, I needed to set up lethal back, basically. Since you
Yeah, you really did.
you put me on. Yeah, you put me in a really bad position with the first windfall, and now the second one. That's just where the match tilts.
Mm-hmm.
I think up until then it was pretty even though.
Yeah, I think it
Even
was.
with Faeria and all.
The Magnus, I guess, just swung it, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I guess we use Phantasm here. Move up. Take the 5-4 to prevent the aggro land. And then we'll just go... I guess that's it. I gotta deal with that 5-2 shaker first. Oh, we're gonna get shakered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he gets to
So
build that aggro anyways. I'm stupid.
Yeah. Just debating what I want here. That's difficult still.
Yeah, he's got 1 shaker left. For some reason I thought we were stopping the aggro lands with the X grinder, but that's your lake. But it shouldn't really matter, we can block the shaker forever. Oh, builds the mountain up there. Huh.
Okay.
I'm gonna run out of cards and we're gonna lose the fatigue game, so I desperately need to
you're
get
not.
1 face poke off. Am I not?
Oh. You're probably fine. You have enough deck weight left.
Give me more. Oh, that's interesting. We can do something like this.
Yeah, farm by Phantasm.
Oh, we could even do that. I was thinking of doing this, but I guess we just frogify you.
Okay.
Oh, we have to worry about Cypher! That was the only one I wasn't thinking
Yes,
about.
I still have Cypher left.
Oh no, I was like, I don't know how to frogify anything. That's okay, we have answers to Cypher still.
Going to be really cheeky now. I'm squeezing every bit of value out of it, yeah.
I think we can just go for face hits here. We could potentially even ignore the 2-2. But then we just give him a free collection for no reason. Doesn't really matter. We'll just do that. Look at all those phantasms.
Plenty, yeah.
Yeah, we can always phantasm the Cypher.
Oh lord, I'm on 3 cards.
Yeah. I guess we're not losing fatigue game, huh?
Not really, no.
There can be only one.
Okay.
I'll probably go for this. And we can just set up lethal, I guess. We don't really need to care about the Cypher. And hey, why don't we go for some more?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a slim chance that I win, but...
The Cypher is kind of nice, I guess. But, there's a lot of creations and phantasms in this list.
Yeah. Like my shot was basically trying to somehow get a trooper aggressive.
Yeah,
then win that way.
I think if you got one face hit, you're in an okay spot maybe. I'm not sure. Alright, that was a long match. But GG.
It's your standard control match, by the way.
Yeah, that's very fair.
If you enjoy these kind of matches, yeah, that's your deck.
Alright, I think we can move on from control.
Really? Yeah, I think that was a bit short-lived. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Chad? Do you want to go for round 2?
Chad is just enjoying themselves probably right now. Lovely. What's next? Sack mirrors? Green mirrors?
There was a lot of interesting decisions there until I top decked the Windfall, and then it was just autopilot.
Yeah. I think I had a pretty good standing, like overall. And then things like playing for the Shaker out, I think is really, really valuable.
Yeah, going for shaker value's pretty good. You're making up damage numbers that wouldn't otherwise exist.
Just compare how the how much closer this game was to the first one, where you sort of you blew your load early on, and then
Yes.
I had an easy Beirut, which, I mean, it's fine. You can do those lines. And maybe that's even a great transition, because now we're looking at Yellow Tempo and what Yellow Tempo wants to do.
Yeah, so
Huh?
actually,
Huh?
on that note of like blowing your load early, um, you had
God, this is going to be demonetized ASAP.
it's okay. I don't make money on these anyways.
Okay.
um, uh, doing that, you really have to understand the list super well, because you can get away with that in certain lists and certain matchups as well, where you go for that early board clear, and then it opens up space for you to be super aggressive and get in a lot of like face hits potentially in the mid game. But if you don't know this, or if you know the matchup super well, it might also be an option to hang on to those removal pieces. Like, for me, where I'm like unaware of this matchup, I think Lizard piloted that a little better, of course, where he's hanging on to these removal pieces because he realizes that no, in the late game, this matchup, this list doesn't actually win unless you go for those value takes, like holding those ground shakers and holding the removal pieces. Even holding flame bursts for potentially going face is one out you can take as well. So it really comes down to knowing that matchup super well and not just auto pulling like cards. If you don't know the matchup super well, I think it's fine. Like just do whatever you want. But when you get really deep into these into your own deck list, and even getting in deeper to opponent's deck list, because you need to know like all the deck lists that are out there anyways, and deep into that matchup as well. Then you can make really
Yeah.
clever plays, playing to your outs overall.
Also, maybe to add on to that, from experience, I've observed people tend to usually avoid slow playing and prefer to play on a much faster pace. But you don't actually, you're not priced into taking these tempo lines all the time. And in fact, if you're trying to counter a slow deck, it might even be beneficial that you yourself slow down the game. I see maybe one of your favorite decks, right? Carasius. I see people often, contemplating going aggressive very early on and then using up all their resources early. So in the end, when the opponent then gets to retaliate, and you, on the other hand, don't really have any means of conveying that tempo into a finish, it's really hard to close out the game, and then Carasius can feel oppressive because of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a
Like
great example to bring up.
like you basically have to visualize what the contents of your deck are, and then how those possibly line up. For example, in our last match, I had the Axe Grinder coming up, which was a perfect answer to the Beirut, which was at that point at 5 HP, right? And I would much rather trade my Grinder into the Shaker, my Grinder into the Beirut rather than the Shaker, right? So
Yeah,
you're trying to hedge for these really efficient clears, and you're trying to set those up multiple turns in advance, which is a hard thing to do, and you don't always get to do that sometimes because your opponent rolls a Windfall of Magnus, or sometimes because you simply don't draw your creatures, the cards you need.
yeah. It's a really delicate balance because in that matchup, like you going for value, but you also have to be uh, playing with at least some urgency of hitting face, because eventually I am gonna outvalue, and then you want to get that face hit so that you can go for the flame burst lethal.
It is, yeah. And I think you did a really good job of blocking the right side, and not necessarily giving me enough access there, because I had to use my Horsemaster prematurely, really wanted to get a good Horsemaster line, but there wasn't any because he defended it well.
Right.
With the land blocking as well, you didn't allow me to, connect the lands and then let me charge the horse line.
Yeah, those lands are super important. Also playing towards what your opponent has in their list. Obviously, this is going to be a lot different on ladder, but it's very beneficial to like just scour the hub and look at what people are playing, especially if you're wanting to get into a competitive scene. Knowing card for card what cards are in that list is very impactful on how you pilot the match. Like, since I know, or I should know at least, all the cards in Lizard's list there, I can play around things like a triple Horse Master. But you gotta value that risk versus reward as well. Like, if you're just playing on ladder, you don't know what they have, sometimes it's okay to just say, maybe they only have 2 Horse Masters in the list, so I'm not gonna play around the third, just to get this really good play off. But yeah, there's a lot of things to think about there.
Depends also on the state of the game, right? How far you've progressed already. If it's late game,
Yeah, very
chances are
good
your
point.
opponent is likely to find that last copy of Horsemaster, Groundshaker, etc. If it's early in the game, you don't have to play around triple Horsemaster, right? So
Yeah.
those things you have to consider as well.
Yeah,
Especially useful when considering copies like Cypher's Wrath and Flameburst. Those are quite impactful. When you're trying to set up a racing situation, you don't really have to play around triple Flameburst all the time. Sometimes it happens, of course, but it gives you significant edge if you can map out these things in advance, right?
Yeah, and you can't always play around every single possibility that your opponent has, so you have to kind of value what's more likely to happen oftentimes. Like, if they've got a very low chance of triple Flame Burst, but a higher chance of like some other, I don't know, maybe you're concerned about removal, maybe there's a higher chance they have like a great Wrath Clear, then you play around the Wrath Clear rather than the unlikely triple Flame Burst.
Yeah, that's just risk hedging and then hand reading really. And sometimes you
Yeah.
also get a good idea of what your opponent wants to do if you read the board state correctly. Like Moon did, he identified correctly, I have a double shaker, I want to play that as an out. He did play the double mochi early, I was looking to clear that with the double shaker. He could have went for the temple line of using a Cypher's Wrath on the mochi, but I chose not to because that also wouldn't have really translated into any foothold really, any aggressive foothold for me.
Yeah, and you went for essentially the free value by playing Shaker and getting to preserve that Wrath, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Shaker's a crazy card, like the best red card, in my opinion, because you can warp games around like this.
Yeah, I mean, red is a very cool list in general, just to take us like case study matches where there's just all these different ways that mono red list can play, but also all these different ways that you need to play against a mono red list and consider all these different cards and outs that they have.
Yeah, especially when you're playing the blue versus red matchup. I think in this case, the blue list is favored because it's a lot beefier than other blue lists, because of the triple Phantasm, the Heralds, the Magnus, the Beirut, obviously, and then Creation. But even with that in mind, if your opponent is playing a Cypher, you have to acknowledge that. If you're about to develop a Ancient Herald, you have to be mindful of Groundshaker because those little things matter. And then if the Groundshaker comes down, you're trading a 5/5 Herald into the Shaker suddenly. It's really bad for you. That might be game losing.
Yeah.
So it's important to know when to hold your cards as well, and look very closely at when your opponent depletes his Faeria usage, right?
And yeah, on that same note of that previous play, this was 2 matches ago if you're randomly watching from this point, but Lizard played that Archon play into my Cypher. And Sesh was asking why he did that and why he should have just moved elsewhere. And I said that that was the correct play, even though Lizard got punished for it. It's really easy to make a certain play in a game, you get punished for it, and then you think, oh, I'm never going to do that play again, because it was just obviously a loss to it. But again, it's valuing that risk versus reward thing. And I think Lizard made that correct play where he was playing around that Horse Master. I didn't end up having it, but you're really concerned with playing for the less risky options, or the less risky options, the ones that are more likely to happen.
Well, except I didn't get punished though, really.
Well, also
trading-
true, yeah. Well, I mean, it might appear that he got punished, I guess, if you're watching,
Right.
because the Cypher did get to gobble some stats, but he was able to, he set it up in a way where he was able to take it back. So you might be
I was
thinking,
able to retaliate with the Garridan. You did,
Yeah.
in fact, trade my Archon for free by using the command. That is true. So I lost a bit of value there, yes.
yeah, so I mean, like some people might think, well, you wouldn't have gotten that value at all by playing out of range, and that's really easy to say by seeing my hand, right? But when we're analyzing games like this, it's important to consider more the likelihood of what cards are being played. That's something you can do in tournaments as well. You're able to see, at least if I'm casting or someone's casting and you're watching, you can see both players' hands, but it's obviously you shouldn't be making plays based on having open information like that. You should be still considering the risks and what's more likely to happen.
Yeah. That's super important. If you're looking to improve at Faeria, just treat every game as if you had no idea what your opponent is playing, right? And then you
Yeah.
slowly gain intel, and the more information you gather through, analytics and sort of sorry, just had a brain fart.
That's right.
8 a.m. brain fart. Through deductive reasoning. Okay, sorry. There's the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can then narrow it down to a certain hand range, what your opponent is actually representing, right?
Yeah, and it's still useful to have like that open information if you're watching like a tournament. It's very good to see how the players are responding to things, but then also think about why a player made a certain decision, especially if it's a high-level player. You can see both players' hands, but now why did that player make this decision? When very clearly you can see in hand there's a flame burst to play around or something like that. So you can kind of think about it that way.
Yeah.
But anyways, shall we
Alright.
move on to the next archetype?
We shall. I've been playing a bit of Yellow Tempo on ladder, so I've been recently enjoying that as well.
So do you want to start with the tempo list?
Yeah, I guess I can start because then I can explain a bit. I don't know. You can play.
Mid-range?
Mid-range is a bit awkward, but yeah. I don't want to force you to play control again.
I can if you want.
You could also try Beastmaster maybe if you want.
Yeah, it's about the same thing, but we
It's a bit
can go
different,
for
right?
Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit different in how it pilots, but like it's still kind of similar in that it's within the same archetype essentially. One thing I'll just play Beastmaster, I guess, for something new. My Beastmaster list is kind of teched for the tournament, but that's alright. We'll get at least a general guide on how this goes. So I don't know if my Voice of Truth will be very useful in this matchup.
Your Voice of Truth? Oh. Probably not, no.
But that's okay.
Okay. I have a super interesting hand.
So Yeah, so tempo into the slower type of sort of almost like a greed list. He's going to be able to apply a lot of pressure, and especially with cards like Shade Demon with a really efficient 5 attack damage, that poses a lot of pressure, a lot of early pressure on my, well, I guess 5 HP stats.
I could have played the Campfire here to play around Stalker. But I chose not to.
Why is that?
Because I think it's more useful on the Demon. Follow up with the Shade Demon next turn. I potentially value trade your Stalker. And then I keep the Campfire intact so that I can threaten something like a Growth Guardian, for example.
Right, so you do need the 6 power to make that up. Yeah, that's fair. So we can just keep playing it a little bit slow. We'll go for this, but we'll go for the boar on this side. Cards I need to be concerned about here are, like, training. And then he's also got that campfire in hand. It's good knowledge for me. I know there's always a campfire in hand to play around. But campfire plus training, that's 5 damage, so I gotta be careful about moving this boar up in the future. Demon to the sides. Well, now I know there's training.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the demon in the center is, like, pretty obvious of training. There might even be double training, but this makes me almost not want to step up. Because this is just a free trade
it's a
for
good
my
read,
opponent. So one thing I could do... There could be training plus mobility on this left side here. He gets to collect and then just take a whack on my Willow. I could take a step up on this side just to block that collection from him. That is one option. Of course, this forest investment means I lose my forest investments on this right side. So I have to kind of think about which side he's going to mount his attack on. And yeah, I think that this is a little bit greedy, going for this land on left side. Since he's already got this land investment here, of course there is the potential for him to training Flash Wind over and do stuff, but he can't develop land on this side. So I think I'd much prefer establishing my lands where his investment has gone. Of course, the question just is where I want to put them. I don't think I want to step this boar up, so I actually might build this land here just to play around like Wind Soldier plus Soul Drain. I am on 5 forests next turn, which is pretty cool. And I win this matchup essentially by defending for a little bit and just getting to my late game pieces and outvaluing him there. Of course, there is Colossus in the future. That one's going to be tough to outvalue. But at least I outvalue a lot of his early game pieces. So there's the training. Oh, I forgot there was... How did I forget there was Campfire? I literally said I should play around that. But yeah, I should have stepped back the Willow. I don't know why I didn't step the Willow back. But yeah, so... the training pretty obvious. He would have gotten a free clear on my boar. Doesn't actually have the Flash Wind, so our Willow's safe for one more turn.
Yeah. If you have feet here, that's really good for you. But yeah, I would have liked a Flash Wind here, obviously.
Yeah. And now that he's invested this, actually, that is a training down, which I can potentially feel more comfortable stepping this Ancient Boar up. Which I think I am, especially since I get to follow up with another creature. So we will just go for the collection here. We'll go for the feeds. Oh. One option I have also is to just slap a taunt here, so I can't actually get training hit. And I need something to defend against this, which I'm going to assume has 5 HP because of that campfire. So I'm going to always assume this is a 7-5 and assume this is a 4-3, which can be
Yes.
boosted further with like trainings. Which is one reason that Outland Ranger is such... I mean, it's fallen a little bit out of favor, but it's still a really solid, strong card. And it's only fallen out of favor because there's like alternatives in DLC cards. But no DLC, this card is fantastic. And that's because of that threat potential with that campfire. Like, I have to play around a 7-5 and a 4-3, which is like, that campfire is doing more than just a 1-1 buff. Anyways. Our only thing we can threaten the stats of is this Tyrion Golem. So I guess we'll drop the Tyrion Golem here. Because the Ancient Boar is 4 attack to his 5 HP. That's going to be there. The next option is... I guess we could potentially just go for this and see what else we drop. I should have done that first, though. Is that worth it? I was debating the taunt, but this is so weak to the Shaitan Demon being on board. I think we're just going to feed this as well. If we top deck Beastmaster, I'm a little bit sad. We don't, so that's not bad. I guess we can drop this, that's fine. Yeah, no, dropping this creature is a little bit awkward, because again, I don't want to play in range of this, especially with Mobility Trick. We know we didn't have it last turn, but I can still play around the top deck, because I'm not really desperate for stuff to survive on board here, right? So I can just play this as a collector. If he finds mobility, he can also flash one this way and get a value trade, which is annoying. Okay, we'll just drop this and pass. We'll see what he's investing in next turn. So as long as we're maintaining these collections on both sides, I'm feeling pretty happy about that. Now I just want to go for lots of card draw and try to outvalue him before he gets his late game pieces, which are those Colossi.
I have a difficult task here. I need to close this game out right now.
You do, yeah. If he doesn't, then yeah, I'm gonna scale and scale and scale in all of my late game potential with feeds and Tyrion Golems, and hopefully Beastmaster. We also make that difficult for him with the Aridin on board, because it's hard for him to step up in face range. You'll also notice the land structure that we've established here is kind of similar to the those last matchups we had, where we're defending that land investment. We're being very careful about our 5 lands that we have to build, because we don't want to go above that land count.
Okay. I will take the temple line now.
Alright.
So, tempo essentially means um,
Ooh. You need
doing unfavorable trades that benefit me in the long. It gives me short-term benefits, right?
Hmm. Yeah, Nightmare is pretty fantastic there. And honestly, Aridin is not the card I would have hoped to top deck in this sort of matchup. This card is requires time to build up the value, and these guys, tempo does not allow you to build up that value potentially. Still possible. Like even something like Grove Guardian here is still very devastating with +1/+1 stats.
I'm trying to figure out if I should clear the boar or if I should clear the Aridin.
Yeah, that's a good question because the boar requires a campfire investment. On the other hand, if you do invest that campfire, to kill the boar, my 3/3's kind of not able to trade into anything immediately, and my Grove Guardians are still 6 HP.
Well, I'm dashing the Colossus this turn, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so you don't really care about Grove Guardian anyways. Like that's the biggest
Faeria
stat
doesn't
line.
really matter.
Yeah, I'm on 12. I can pretty much play anything. Yeah, the biggest attack stat you have to worry about is 6, right?
Yeah, I think I go for this line.
I think that's pretty good. I could have body blocked with the Aridin, right? The Garridan. We probably are using this, right? 8, 12, so we'll take a draw.
Might have been priced into pre-campfiring the demon here, just because it's a discount on the Colossus. Right, because I'm thinking Grove Guardian and what?
Well, I actually get to teleport here if I want, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, then I sure should have pre-campfired. Teleport blows me out, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna shut down a lot of stuff. I even get... Yeah, this is a pretty big turn. We come here. Unfortunately, my Grove Guardian does not fight these stats super well, but... what can you do?
Damn. Small mistakes.
Yeah, that campfire would have saved you, huh?
Yeah.
God, this doesn't even feel that good. I think I actually might just dump my hand. Even though this doesn't do much. Like, this is not gonna get value anyways. I need to find 1 damage efficiently. I mean, that's... I guess this is not a very efficient 1 damage source. There was another option, I guess, to just let him hit me. No, not really. Yeah, I don't know. That's actually kind of awkward, but I guess we just have to do it anyways. I would hope to top deck command or something, but this is so expensive.
Grove Call is a one-off, right?
It is a one of in my list, yeah. We're just gonna dump this because I need the stats on board, I guess. 7/7's really awkward, but we'll spend...
you could have. I guess it doesn't matter now. Never mind.
Yeah, there was, yeah, the boar traded with the demon either way.
Uh, oh, that's just a bit unfortunate. Hmm.
Yeah, he can really get away with this land placement too, because I'm kind of desperate for card draws here, unless I get a really good top deck. I guess I could just go for it anyways. Oh, that's actually not bad as a source of killing this Colossus. I mean, I could block his collections now. Especially with that Kaleem wanting to come this way, we get to threaten. We do have to find more damage to kill this, but I think the land investment's fine since this is what I'm doing. We dropped the Willow to fight stats. And then Borgo where? I can take this. I mean, I guess I just take this land investment either way. So he's probably gonna fly over and take this. I mean, he can play in range because I'm playing Beastmaster. He doesn't really have to play around much in terms of buffs. Even a single buff doesn't kill this anyways. And then he can also go for like soul drain things. Can also clear my left side to stop collections. I guess we can step like this. We do open this desert again, but that's fine. Hopefully. I do have the stats on board to deal with another Colossus.
Alright, picked up a choking.
Oh, gross.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, choking I wasn't even playing around. I didn't think you'd have that.
I do.
Wow. Alright, well that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I
Choking's
take
pretty
the
good.
hit. Don't step over left side.
Great top deck. That's... So now I gotta be concerned about mobility trick to my face. He did have the option to do that last turn as well, but I think I'm fine with the face hit rather than him going for collect, and face hit now, which is a bit unfortunate. We could invest this, potentially, but it's not that great. This one, so we can get Wind Soldiered here. It's a little bit awkward. I mean, if we get hit in the face for 3, it's not the end of the world, right? Yeah, okay, let's just go for the collection then. We will then... I gotta be a little bit concerned with my face, because I don't really want to be stepping this 3-2 up super aggressive. I might actually shimmy these guys a bit. Like this. Because this actually plays around like a Wind Soldier taking this. I don't think he'd ever do that, but... It does something. Takes away the soul drain potential, so I'm still always threatening this desert. This plays really bad into Colossus, though. I guess I didn't think about that.
Which I don't have.
Well, that's good for me.
Yeah, that is
I
good for you.
should have played around that, though. I could have played around it simply by stepping in the 2/6 to prevent the dash.
Oh, these lines are so hard to figure out. Not easy. I think I'm taking a bit of a conservative approach here.
Oh, invests the buff too, so I can't take a pre-hit. Okay.
Now you need Stalker plus Beastmaster? Which, maybe you have it?
I do
It's
not.
getting more likely.
But yeah, it is getting more likely, that's for sure. There's an option to play this. Generally, it's not great to play this. Because I'm already investing this. I mean, it's not the end of the world, I guess. 7. I guess we can try to roll for it. Sure. Oh, rewarded.
Rewarded?
Yeah, well,
What?
kind of. I mean, it's a playable card.
Okay, okay.
I'll say that much.
Rewarded, yeah. Sure.
I'll just shimmy these guys around. Do I want to fight this Manta Rider? I want to play around mobility and protecting my voice of truth, I guess. So we'll do something like this. Then we will play this, and then I guess we can now block the line there.
That's a pretty good block, yeah. Now I have to reevaluate again. Had to be Iona.
Yeah, not terrible. Not terrible.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Now I've used double feeds, so unfortunately my Oakling's gonna be hard to trade off.
I mean, you kind of just want to trade with it anyhow, like
Yeah, but
regular
like,
trades.
yeah, I have to have stuff in range of it though, right? Which I guess if I just keep it at face is likely to happen at some point, but it's really slow value. Like I have to wait for you to
Yeah.
potentially hit my face before trading.
Oh. I can choose to play into Stalker. Or I can choose to avoid Stalker. Which, you're being awfully quiet. Maybe you have a Stalker in hand.
I only got one card.
Only got one card? Yeah.
It could be anything.
Could be anything.
Could be Stalker. Could be a second Iona. You never know.
You will step next turn, which makes me want to take this trade now. Sort of bite the bullet.
Okay. Yep, completely cleans up that side. And steps into double collection. Okay. So I'd probably want a +1 to play this guy. Now I could optionally leave this Kaleem alive. Try to take this. It doesn't feel very good though. I think I can just keep the Manta alive anyways. Because mobility tricks exist as well. So we probably just... I mean, we're probably playing this guy anyways, but we'll take the command on this. We'll take the Grove Guardian there, block the collection. And then we'll... Again, I gotta think about Colossus dashing here, and I really want the space blocked. So this is kind of awkward. I want to step this 2/6 up. I actually should have planted the Oakling on E2. I put it here so that I wouldn't get value traded with the Manta, but that, I mean, I want this guy to die, so that doesn't make any sense. Definitely should have been here, and that would have been a better play. I could have stepped the 2/6 back and Oakling up to fight this. But I missed that opportunity now, unfortunately. Yeah, I gotta play around the Colossus here. Of course, Colossus can still dash here, but it's not as bad. Yeah, we do something like that.
I mean, it did just give me the value though.
On the
If I have
3/2?
a flashpoint here, I just take it.
Oh, but that's pretty fine for me, is it not?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't have any cards in hand. I'm stupid.
Might not be that fine, no.
Okay, that's pretty game losing. I wasn't thinking. Alright, well, I wanted to keep things spicy and interesting.
Yes, yes.
That was
All
the
for the
plan.
entertainment.
Yes. Alright.
You're likely not on many commands though.
No, I played 2
Either you're on
commands already.
3 or you're on 2, so there's not a lot of healing coming out from you anytime soon, I would suspect.
Mm-hmm. I just play you in range. And I guess to play around Colossus, we'll take this step. And then just pass. Keeping card in hand this time.
Yes. We've learned a lesson. Uh, this remains pretty tricky, honestly.
Hmm. Still a lot of stats to whack through, and I still have 2 Tyrian golems yet to come. But I also have all 3 of my Beastmasters in the bottom 10 cards of my deck, so those are not going to be handy to top deck into.
No, no.
Oh. Okay.
Sort of forcing you to take this trade with the Grove if you want it. And then I'm setting up left side if you choose to take this one instead.
I really want this collection. I think we're taking this and just +1ing here, dropping this. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. So he takes that value trade, which is very annoying. But we have to take back. And then I likely don't want to take this hit here, because if I take the hit, the Manta just trades me. Or he does like Soul Drain, zips away or something and collects. So we'll just stand there with the Grove Guardian taunting. The Aerodin actually paid off really well, because I wouldn't have been able to deal with these Mantas otherwise.
Yeah, it's good for you, definitely.
I think in a different sort of, like if there was a different sort of opening, a different sort of window, you could have really messed me up before that Aerodin got the value off.
Yeah.
But
I still have a decent tempo line here, though.
Hmm.
Just trying to figure out if I should draw or if I should +1.
Great to note here also, with all this tempo plays, like we mentioned, he's going for short-term value in exchange for giving up that long-term value, unlike I have, where I've got like Tyrian golems and stuff. Since I'm forced to defend against this in such a way, it also makes me lose some of my late game potential as well, where I'm defending, having to come off of the wells and such.
Yep.
Fanatic.
Did I mess up?
We moving the Manta away? Taking another value?
I did not move. Okay, I got it. Still works.
Training. That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. That's not what green wants to see. This is kind of what green wants to see, though.
You got a big boy coming up.
I do. Unfortunately, I only get to play one thing here.
Yeah.
Which really hurts. This is just awful. This 1 HP is...
1 HP menace, yeah.
I mean, it's just gotta be this. I don't really have another play. And I desperately need collections now.
Yeah, it's really interesting how you can sort of starve your opponent of collections by applying pressure yourself.
Yeah. Already, this big creature is just getting slaughtered by these mantas. I mean, this is what green is weak to, is the really efficient flyer bodies, which is great to fight the green in the tempo list, apparently. Yeah, I mean, I'd love a Willow top deck here, but I've already drawn 2, I think, so I don't think I can hope for those. We'll probably just go for +1s just to desperately cling on to Faeria. I mean, we can still... I'm not, like, in a bad spot, but it's not an ideal spot.
Oh, that's a big one, yeah.
It is really sad that he doesn't get very much value, but hey. Now if he finds, I guess he can't find a clear, and, well, if there's Flash Wind and Colossus in hand, I think I'm just dead here.
Right now I just have Colossus. I don't have Flash Wind.
It's good for me.
Good for you, yeah.
that would just lose me the game.
Huh. I think now I just have to sort of corner you.
Makes sense. Keep me off of those collections. And the demon. Alright, we did top deck that. Unfortunately, I still need an extra collection to play everything here. But I probably just go for this. Can body block with this guy. This is 5, 6, 7. So if we do this, 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 then we're still looking okay. I could go for a draw now. My draw options are... I've got 1 feed to search for, I guess. There's going to be a lot of Beastmasters coming, which I don't want to be playing. I'm not really looking for a particular top deck. Maybe I just keep +1ing to stay in this game. So let's take this. Take this. Oh, I'm down to 8 cards too. Huh.
Yeah, this has been quite the ride, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I think if I keep +1ing, I'm fine here. I am really low on cards, but pretty much the rest of my deck is just going to be stats. Apart from the Beastmasters. The Beastmasters are something I want to draw past, ideally. Wow, I still have 3 Beastmasters in my bottom 8 cards.
Yeah. So that's certainly exciting.
I might want to draw into buffs and healing. That's one thing I could try drawing for. I think in this position I'm not desperate for it though. Unless that's a Colossus.
That is a Colossus, yeah.
Okay, well, drawing was maybe something I should have done then. Just to draw into those buffs.
I think I stay here, actually.
stop me from stepping on that space. Makes sense. Yeah, I should have went for a draw, I think, because... well, I should have calculated the Faeria thresholds. This is technically an answer, I guess. I could play two things here. That is another option I could go for. Yeah, because my answers here are either desperately top deck a buff, which I've got two... Oh, sorry, I don't have buffs, I have commands in this list. Never mind! Okay, there's no buff potential, so this is my only answer then. So I guess we're going for it. I have to play this first because he doesn't get to dash. Oh, and then if there's a second Colossus...
It would be third.
Oh, sorry, third is what I meant, yeah. Okay, well, this... Ooh. Now, another option I could go for is accepting the face hit. He has played almost like 3 trainings at this point, I think. But there's more campfires to come, so 6 HP is still a scary number. Especially double wind soldier he has an option for. He's only played 1. So 6 HP is a very scary number.
There's like a couple of lines I could take. Well, wind soldier, like you pointed out, is likely. I also have Outland Ranger left, 2 copies, and 1 copy of Demon.
Yeah, and it's really scary. I'm more scared about the haste potential because Demon buff I can deal with, right? But with 6 cards left, it's pretty likely double wind soldier. I mean, it's actually guaranteed that double wind soldier can be an answer. So I think I have to just... Another question to consider is, do I win if I do this? If I just dump 3 Faeria to kill this. So I'm debating a Stalker play
Stalker?
here.
Yeah.
Debating Stalkering the 7/7 or taking the 2/2, but I think I have to take the 7/7 here.
Pretty desperate to get this face it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think this is what I've decided on. We get to follow up with a creature, which is nice too. We could even actually collect with this guy, because Colossus can only dash... Well, you could dash onto where the Manta currently is, and then we can't answer it, and you can mobility trick to my face. God, it's such a tricky... tricky turns.
Yeah, it's delicate.
I really am desperate for the collections, I think. I've got 5 costs coming up.
If you got the ball, though, you're fine. I feel like you're fine.
Yeah, I'm just concerned with Colossus dash onto where the 2/2 is, and then I can't put... Well, hopefully I can body block that. I guess it's likely I can body block it, but then I'm still risking, like, mobility trick into my face. I guess... yeah, your only line there would be to collect with the 2/2 +1 Colossus. And this is a point in the game where we ideally should be card counting, and then just assuming that he has every possible card left in the list. So things like double wind soldier, those are 2 cards we can count on. I can't remember how many soul drains have been used, there might be 1 left. There's, I think, demon number 3, yeah. And then one of those is Colossus. So there's at least 3 cards accounted for, and maybe there's a soul drain.
Okay.
Takes the face
So
hit.
taking the face hit here allows me to set up for the double wind soldier, right? Gives you a 5-drop though. Like you get a draw for a 5-drop now this way. Because you can collect.
Yeah, what do you mean by double Wind Soldier? That's just... Oh, because then you got the demon to finish. Okay, fair enough. We do take the draw here. I probably don't want to play this if I can help it. Okay, this is great. I'd rather play this than this. So we can do this. Really important I step on the sideways lands so that we play around the Colossus, right? And yeah, so I top decked a Beastmaster, but Beastmaster at this point in the game is absolutely awful.
Yeah, definitely. Not where you want to be.
So now I gotta decide where to put this. He can go up to 5 with a Flash Wind. Right, so this spot's absolutely fine. I was thinking about Soul Drain plus Colossus, but that doesn't really make a difference, yeah.
Yeah, that was really good for you. So I guess there was some merit to blocking collection, but I haven't seen a single Stalker. Maybe you're only running 2?
You just saw 2, and I'm only running 2.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Jeez.
I got 1 Voice of Truth left. Which actually would be good.
Yeah, that would be good. I think this is it. I have the mobility, but...
What about, like, Fatigue? Do you win the Fatigue game? I mean, I'm only 2 cards up on you, right?
Aren't you just double landing at some point?
I mean, I can double land here, because I don't want to draw anymore, and I can actually just play the card that I want to play, I guess. But, I don't know. I mean... It's... still up in the air,
I guess I could be playing around Fatigue, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, we're just gonna double land since I get to play my cards. I guess we have the luxury to just collect. He's played triple training?
I did play triple training.
Yeah. Ooh, what are my aggro creatures to put up here, though? Probably Beastmaster. We had 2 Beastmasters left, 1 Voice of Truth. Oh, and 1 Tyrion Golem. Okay. Tyrion Golem can go face, I guess. Right, I forget. This guy's pinging you in the face. I actually maybe shouldn't have given you the trade, I'm not sure.
I did get triple movement here, yeah.
Oh. Wait, triple movement doesn't, Okay, yeah, that gets you into face.
Yeah, it does get me into face range.
Huh. I guess, yeah, I think I was supposed to keep my taunt there. That was stupid moving it. It didn't accomplish anything. And 1 mistake might just cost me the entire game. Moving that taunt. Super awkward.
Well, Fnatic should have been left side, I think, by the way. Probably not gonna matter, though. Actually, it's gonna matter, yeah. What an insane game.
It is. It really is. Jeez, so I don't think I can win anymore if I don't apply pressure.
You need to hit face here, yeah.
I am taking fatigue damage, so I absolutely have to build this aggro forest, unfortunately.
If that's a stalker, though, you're fine, I think.
No, I'm out of stalkers.
Oh, so it is only 2, yeah.
Okay, so I know what my next top decks are. We got 2 Beastmasters and 1 Voice of Truth, so I can play to those. But pretty much I'm just looking to stand on face, play around. He just played triple mobility, right? Or was that 1,
Yeah,
2, 3?
yeah.
Yeah. So there still might be some to play around, but
Well, you should know my hand by now, except for my like 1 card maybe.
you got the double Wind Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's just double Wind Soldier. 1 Colossus. So there's only 1 mystery card. Okay, well, regardless, I gotta play around Colossus in the future. Which is pretty easy.
I think I would have played Colossus earlier if I had a chance.
We'll just step back. Pass.
Okay.
Third Outland Ranger? I can't remember.
Yeah, I have another one. I don't think the math works though.
I think if it's Outland Ranger, I don't think you have it. Because, I mean, I just need to keep my taunt alive. If you can,
Yeah, I'm never getting through.
like, if you can threaten the taunt on the right side, maybe, but... you would have had to have 5 this turn. I think it did matter. You had the the fanatic on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Shit.
'Cause- yeah, if you had the
So I
extra
could've won
collections
there,
there. Let's see, like the Colossus threatens... I don't know if you win though. Like the Colossus dashes, and then what I counterplay with is
I don't have Colossus in hand. My cards are Smile, Double
Oh.
Wind Soldier, and Ranger.
Oh, it's Smile. Wait, what did collecting do for you then?
I'm potentially trading into the Grove Guardian. So that way I can get a Wind Soldier to face, which is all I'm worried about. I just need 1 Wind Soldier to hit face.
True. Yeah, fair point. Right, if you collected, you would have been on... what, +1? +2, sorry? 6, you get to play 4 with the Outland Ranger. Oh no, you got the Campfire in hand already. Yeah, I guess then you would have been able to hit face once this very turn. Right?
Essentially, I have to do 2 things, right? I have to somehow manage your Colossus for... your Golem for a few turns, and then I have to hit face for 3, so that you can die to 2nd Fatigue instance. Yeah, this isn't it. And I don't even get, like...
Though, I think I still
Don't even get the
survive.
face line now.
Yeah, it's really
rough.
awkward. But I think I still survive.
Yeah, I think you
'Cause-
win here, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, even if you had that one play, because I only... if you deal 3 damage Right, you deal 4 with the campfire.
I think I could have played better. My Outland Ranger should have been aggressive. My Fanatic as well should have been in an aggressive position. But here I'm just dead. Yeah.
Wow. Good game. That was very close. Wait, Smile damages you? Oh, you drew.
I drew, it wasn't Smile, no. There's no flyer left.
Gotcha. Good morning, Fickle.
The pivotal turn was when the Eridan got cleared though, and and you had the teleport, right? The one-off teleport.
Yeah. Yeah, the teleport was super nice because you also had the option to campfire to buff out of range of that.
Yeah, which I didn't do.
Yeah, maybe the campfire was the mistake, just to play around that teleport.
There was a line where I could have saved my Coloss by flash winding the 2/2 Manta onto the desert, right? So that I was guaranteed a face hit.
Alright. Yeah, that could have made a difference. Those face hits were really important in the end game.
Yeah, it's crazy how much those matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, showcasing some decent lines, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot in that match. Actually, these past 2 matches had a lot to talk about. Largely, I guess, because of how drawn out they were with the slower matchups. But there's a lot to sort of analyze there in terms of crucial moments in the game that you have to play super well, and like, even if you've played the game for a long time, they're hard to spot and hard to think about in the moment. Even after, in post-game, it's hard to think about, because there's just so many different ways you could take it.
Pressure points are so important.
And understanding, like, which pressure points to, like, poke in each different matchup and each different archetype, because they're always different. For speedier decks like Tempo, Rush as well, those face hits become super important, because you just don't have that late game like value, so you really gotta close that game out fast.
Especially tempo decks are so interesting. If you get those drawn out games, which sometimes you don't because you high roll.
Yeah, and
if you do get those, yeah, the attrition game plan is really interesting in that you're sort of doing this tango between, you know, denying the opponent and forcing them into awkward spots, applying pressure where there's normally you know, no pressure at all. Ideally, as Beastmaster Green, you would be sitting on your wells and collect all game, which you did, but there were some moments where you're priced into taking the taunt and leaving out a collection or two.
Yeah,
in favor of the
exactly.
better positioning, and that's what yellow does really well, is positioning.
Yeah. Yeah, and just speedy decks in general, like Tempo. You make back that lost late game value potentially by stopping your opponent from being able to collect all they want and being able to afford their late game pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting matchup.
Okay, well, we played 4 games, but that was
that only
almost
4
3
games?
hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a lot to think about there. I think a lot of it was a lot of just the slower matchups, but I think very interesting, and hopefully very interesting for the viewers.
Yeah, and I mean, I know some games were drawn to a hasty conclusion, or, you know, after a certain point it was clear, you know, that Moon or I was the winner. But it's still valuable to talk about these lines, right?
Yeah, definitely.
foster a better understanding of how the game really works, of how some of these dynamics actually pan out.
Yeah, and also, like, yeah, oftentimes competitive players, experienced players will surrender the match when they know it's lost, and I mean, that's completely valid. But when we play these matches out, it really gives you a feel for why that match is lost and why people throw in the surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah, Faeria's a game that snowballs. You lose collections for too long, and you're gonna lose.
Yeah. One thing I'm not super competent with is playing for fatigue. I think I could do a better job at that, but I rarely do actually play for fatigue.
It's really hard to calculate in the moment, because you gotta calculate how many turns you have until that fatigue hits, and then you gotta calculate, okay, there's gonna be 1, then +2 is 3, then +3 is 6. That's a lot of math you gotta do, and also keeping track of, or thinking ahead to how many turns it's gonna take for the positioning to be in this certain board state. It comes a lot more like chess in the fatigue states.
Like, in the end, I think I made the right call, but you did have the creature advantage over me.
Yeah, just barely, though. Well, okay, not barely. Well, I guess I did have a lot.
Not barely, no.
Yeah, never mind.
Like, the Grove Guardian really...
the Grove Guardian,
yeah.
That sealed it.
Last Grove Guardian made it. You had, like, 1 Willow, 1 Grove left as your big outs, right?
No Willows left. I don't... Yeah, I top-decked all my pieces. I had 1 Beastmaster
left.
left.
You've had 2 in the early game, right?
Yeah.
So no Willow. Interesting. That's so interesting.
Though I will say I lost that Oakling buff just for no reason in the early game.
That is also true, yeah.
So that was a bit of a whoopsie. But yeah, unless you have any closing thoughts.
I think we've disclosed all so far. If there are any questions in chat, I don't have Twitch chat open, but if you guys have any questions, you can shoot me a DM. I'm sure Moon is open to answering your questions as well. Or just put them in the comments, you know? If this is going on the big YouTube, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The big YouTube.
What else do the kids these days do? Like and subscribe, huh?
Like and subscribe. I'll be uploading in 100-part series to my TikTok.
Okay.
Alright. Well, take care, guys, and thanks for joining the Lizards.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm gonna start my day now.
Excellent. I'm gonna close up my day.
Yeah.
Alright, see you guys.